you hit snooze again, and in that tiny moment, you surrender rest. But to weakness, the harsh truth, your morning isn't tired. It's undisciplined. Most people think their mornings fail because they're not morning people. But what if I told you it has nothing to do with your sleep, and everything to do with what you've been told about success, discipline, and comfort? There's a harsh truth no one wants to admit. Your brain is wired to protect you from discomfort, so it lies. It tells you 5 more minutes won't hurt, that you'll start tomorrow, or you deserve rest. But each of these tiny lies quietly builds a life you never truly chose. Today, we'll break down 5 brutal yet liberating truths that can flip your mornings and your mindset forever. Ready to stop waking up with regret? Let's begin. We all crave comfort. The warmth of a blanket on a cold morning, the silence after hitting snooze, the tempting pull of staying still just a little longer. But here's the brutal truth: comfort rarely gives birth to greatness. Your bed will never argue with you. It won't challenge your self-doubt or confront your wasted potential. But that's the problem. It lulls you into stagnation. Comfort is seductive, but progress is forged in discomfort. No one achieves discipline, success, or self-respect in a state of ease. Look at any high achiever, athlete, philosopher, or visionary. What's the common thread? They chose what was difficult when ease was available. They woke up before their bodies wanted to. They pushed through the discomfort of growth. They didn't wait for motivation. They moved despite resistance. There's a quote attributed to the Navy SEALs: "Get comfortable being uncomfortable." Why? Because discomfort is the territory of change. When your alarm rings, it's not just a wake-up call, it's a test. A tiny battle between your current self and your future self. And whichever one you feed wins. The brain doesn't love this idea. Your subconscious is wired for survival, not excellence. It wants to avoid pain, conserve energy, and repeat familiar patterns. So every time you try to stretch, whether it's waking early, meditating, reading, or working out, your mind whispers seductive lies. You deserve rest. You'll do it tomorrow. This one time won't matter. But it does matter, because every choice in the morning builds momentum. When you choose comfort, you're not just delaying action. You're strengthening procrastination as your identity. The more you choose comfort, the easier it becomes to justify it tomorrow. On the other hand, when you lean into discomfort, even in tiny ways, you begin to reshape how your brain sees challenge. You become mentally tougher, emotionally sharper, and spiritually clearer. You stop needing perfect circumstances to act, you just act. Let's make this practical. Tomorrow morning, you'll hear that alarm. You'll feel the weight of comfort pressing against your progress. In that moment, remember this: your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. You're not fighting to wake up early. You're fighting for your future, your purpose, your power. Challenge yourself. Wake up when it's hard. Make your bed with intention. Step into cold air. Move your body even when you don't feel like it. Do the uncomfortable thing first. These small acts are not trivial. They're how warriors train. They're how leaders are made. They are how you rewrite the story you tell yourself every day. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your invitation. An invitation to rise, to stretch, to transform, and when you learn to seek it, not avoid it, you become unstoppable. So the next time comfort calls, ask yourself, is this helping me become who I want to be, or keeping me exactly where I am? Because on the other side of discomfort is discipline. On the other side of discipline is confidence, and on the other side of confidence is freedom. Choose discomfort. Choose growth. Choose the life waiting for you beyond the easy path. What if I told you that the first 10 minutes after you wake up are not just minutes, but a mirror of your future? Most people wake up and grab their phones. Notifications, messages, noise. Before their feet even touch the ground, their minds are already consumed by other people's lives, by worries, by comparison. That's not a routine, it's a reaction, and living your life in reaction is the fastest way to lose control of it. Now here's the truth high performers understand. Your morning doesn't begin at sunrise. It begins with intention. And nothing shapes that intention more powerfully than the first 10 minutes. Why are these minutes so important? Because your mind is most impressionable in the moments after sleep. Neuroscientists call this the alpha state, a time when your subconscious is wide open, absorbing, imprinting, and internalizing. In that fragile space, whatever you feed it, gratitude or anxiety, vision or chaos, sets the tone for your entire day. Think of your morning like programming a rocket launch. Small misalignments at the beginning cause massive divergence in the end. 1 degree off at takeoff, and you miss the moon entirely. The same applies here. If you win the first 10 minutes, you don't just improve your day, you recalibrate your trajectory. So how do we do it? Here are 5 simple but powerful steps. Don't reach for your phone. Not for texts, not for news, not even for the time. Train yourself to be unavailable for the first few moments of the day. You don't owe the world your attention before you've given it to yourself. Breathe with intention. Take 10 deep, controlled breaths. Inhale strength, exhale distraction. Let your body reconnect to presence before you reach for productivity. Set your mental tone. Ask yourself powerful questions. What kind of person do I want to be today? What's one action that would make today a success? Who needs me at my best today? These questions don't just wake you up, they pull you into purpose. Move, even just a little. Stretch, walk, or do a minute of light activity. The goal isn't fitness, it's motion over inertia. When you move your body, your brain follows. Feed your mind. Read a paragraph. Listen to 1 minute of an audiobook. Say an affirmation. Plant seeds that align with the person you are becoming. You see, the morning doesn't need to be perfect, but it must be yours. It's your time to claim power before the world throws problems. It's your chance to lead your mind rather than chase your day. And here's the secret: you don't have to control every minute of your day. You just need to master the first 10. Because if you do that right, the rest often takes care of itself. So tomorrow, when you open your eyes, remember, the first 10 minutes are not just a habit, they are a vote. A vote for clarity over chaos. A vote for discipline over distraction. A vote for designing a life rather than drifting through one. What you do in those moments decides who you become. Choose power. Choose presence. Win the morning, and you win the day. Don't wait for the mood to move you. Move, and the mood will follow. This single principle can transform your life. Because here's the hard truth: most people wait for motivation. They wait to feel like it, or to go for a walk, or to start a task, to fix their diet, or to chase their dream. But the mood never shows up. Or worse, it arrives too late. This is the silent killer of potential, living under the rule of your emotions instead of your decisions. But the highest performers, the most grounded leaders, the truly resilient people you admire, they don't live like that. They've discovered something deeper. Movement creates mood. Action shifts emotion. Motion changes mindset. The science behind it: every emotion you feel, anxiety, joy, motivation, fear, is accompanied by a biochemical and physical response. Your posture, breathing, heart rate, all of it feeds back into your brain. When you feel low, your shoulders slump, your breathing shortens, your eyes fall, your body closes in on itself, and guess what? That posture reinforces the feeling. It's a feedback loop. But when you change your movement, you break the loop. Jumping jacks in your room, confidence spikes, a walk around the block, anxiety drops, a cold splash of water, energy floods back. That's because motion regulates your nervous system, re-centers your focus, and sends a message to your brain. We are not stuck. We are not helpless. We are in control. Real talk discipline isn't always about grit. It's not about forcing yourself through every moment. It's about creating momentum, physically, even when your mind isn't on board. Let's be honest, you won't feel motivated every morning. You won't always want to sit down and create, study, or hustle. You won't always want to work out, call back, or show up. But that's exactly why movement becomes your secret weapon. It's not about being in the mood. It's about training your brain to follow your feet. Because once you start moving, just 1 minute, one motion, the resistance weakens. What once felt like a mountain becomes a step. 3 practical morning movements to shift any state. The power pose reset 2 minutes. Stand tall, feet firm, hands on hips or stretched above your head like you've won something. Deep breaths. Chest open. Smile. You're telling your nervous system, 1 minute energy shake. Put on any music. Shake your arms, legs, shoulders. Breathe loudly. Make it fun. This breaks tension, wakes up your lymphatic system, and resets your brain's emotional state. Step out, step back, literally step outside for 3 minutes. Get light on your face, fresh air in your lungs, space in your mind, no phone. Just walk, breathe, feel. This alone can flip the switch on a sluggish day. Final thought, there's no shame in waking up tired. There's no guilt in feeling low. But you owe it to yourself not to stay there, because the moment you move, even slightly, you remind yourself of something powerful. I am not my feelings. I am not stuck. I am not waiting. I am moving forward. So tomorrow, when you don't feel like showing up, don't wait, move first. The mood will catch up, and that's how leaders rise. That's how habits stick. That's how transformation begins, not in thought, but in movement. The first 30 minutes of your day determine the rhythm of the next 16 hours. Let's be brutally honest. Most people lose the battle for their day in the first 5 minutes. Before their feet hit the floor, their hand reaches for the phone. Before they take a deep breath, they're scrolling. Before they decide who they want to be that day, they've already allowed someone else's noise, chaos, or agenda to invade their mind. This isn't just bad habit, it's self-abandonment. You give away your attention, your most valuable asset, to a screen that's been designed to hijack it. And yet we wonder why anxiety is high, why we feel scattered, why we can't focus, why we're unmotivated by noon. The answer is simple: we've allowed devices to replace discipline. But you don't have to live like this. The most powerful people in the world, creators, leaders, warriors, visionaries, have one sacred rule. They own their mornings. Before they serve the world, they serve their mind. And it all begins with one commitment: discipline before devices. The cost of waking up to the world. Think of your brain like a sponge in the first 30 minutes after waking. It's highly absorbent, operating in alpha and theta waves, perfect conditions for programming habits, thoughts, and beliefs. Now ask yourself, do you really want to fill that golden space with email anxiety, comparison traps, news fear, or dopamine hits from social media? You're not waking up. You're uploading someone else's chaos. Your phone becomes your alarm clock, your pacifier, your idol, your enemy. And it all starts innocently, just checking, and ends up devouring your energy, focus, and intention. You are not weak. You are just unarmed. And your device, it is a loaded weapon, pointed at your discipline. Reclaim your morning in 3 simple moves. Let's bring the power back where it belongs. In your hands, not your phones. 1. Delay your scroll 30-60 minutes. Put your phone on airplane mode or leave it outside your room. Train your mind. My day begins with me, not the world. Let silence, prayer, journaling, stretching, or stillness shape your mood. 2. Discipline ritual 10 minutes. Have a repeatable, non-negotiable habit stack. Make your bed. Drink water. Write 3 intentions. Read a quote. Say 1 affirmation aloud. These aren't chores. They are signals to your brain, I'm in charge today. 3. Protect your inner kingdom. Your mind is a temple. Guard the gates. Before any message enters, make sure you've spoken to yourself first. Not your inbox, not your feed, not your to-do list. Real, world-proof leaders don't wake up to noise. Study the routines of high performers, military generals, Olympians, entrepreneurs, monks. They don't wake up reactive. They wake up with rhythm, purpose, and a sacred buffer between self and screen. Because here's the secret: the person who controls the morning controls the mind. The person who controls the mind controls the life. Final thought: you're not lazy. You're not broken. You've just been trained to be distracted. But you can retrain your mind, not by willpower alone, but by making discipline your first dopamine. Before the world demands your attention, command your own. Before the screen pulls you in, breathe, stretch, reflect, choose. Before your phone shapes your mind, decide what shape your life will take. Because success doesn't start with scrolling, it starts with sacred silence, structured choices, self-leadership. So tomorrow morning, do something radical. Leave the device. Pick up your discipline, and watch how the day bends to your will. Growth begins where comfort ends, and power lives just past the point where most people quit. Comfort is seductive. It lulls you in. It tells you, stay here, don't stretch, don't risk, don't rise. But what comfort doesn't tell you is this: it slowly kills your ambition. You weren't designed for a soft life. You were born for resilience, challenge, and transcendence. Yet so many people seek ease, and in doing so, they quietly erase their own edge. The truth: comfort is not peace. It's prison. You call it rest. But it's resistance. You call it self-care. But it's self-sabotage. Every time you avoid the difficult task, every time you shrink from the cold, the risk, the rejection, every time you say, not today, maybe tomorrow, you train your nervous system to fear growth, and so life becomes smaller, less vibrant, more fragile. Not because you lack potential, but because you've mistaken comfort for safety. Choose your pain. One builds, one breaks. Life offers you two kinds of pain: the pain of discipline, temporary, sharpening, empowering; the pain of regret, dull, chronic, permanent. You can avoid the workout, but you won't avoid the weakness. You can avoid the difficult conversation, but you won't avoid the inner conflict. You can avoid the cold, the stretch, the pressure, but you won't avoid the voice that whispers, you could have been more. Be uncomfortable on purpose. Why? Because the voluntary discomfort you embrace today becomes the psychological armor you wear tomorrow. Greatness is built in the cold, the dark, the hard. Do you think warriors are forged in sunlight and luxury? No. They are made in mud, sweat, solitude, and struggle. The Roman legions, the Stoic thinkers, the Navy SEALs, the monks of old, all practiced voluntary hardship. Why? Because they knew, if I train my body and mind to suffer with intention, the world cannot break me without permission. Cold showers, long runs, waking early, facing fear, eating clean, speaking truth, starting again, not because it's trendy, but because it's transformative. You cannot rise soft. You want clarity. It comes after confusion. You want strength. It comes after struggle. You want confidence. It comes after confrontation with your limits, your fears, your doubts. Stop asking for the mountain to be smaller. Train your legs to be stronger. Stop asking for life to get easier. Prepare your spirit to become wilder. Daily discomfort, a discipline ritual. Want to level up? Do one thing every day that makes you uncomfortable on purpose. Take the cold shower. Speak the hard truth. Say no. Wake earlier. Lift heavier. Read deeper. Turn off the phone. Ask for help. Push the reps. Post the video. Sit in silence. Start the thing. The resistance you feel, that's not weakness. That's the gate, and the strong walk through it. Final thought: who are you becoming? One day, life will punch you in the mouth. Tragedy will visit, doubt will rise, circumstances will squeeze, and in that moment, you'll either break or you'll rise like fire. Because you've already trained in darkness. You've already practiced pain. You've already chosen discomfort on your terms. So when life tests you, you won't flinch. You'll look it in the eye and say, I'm ready. I've been sharpening for this. Be uncomfortable on purpose, so life never catches you unprepared. Tomorrow, the world will test your edge. Build it today, in discomfort, with discipline, with intention. We live in a world that worships motivation but quietly ignores discipline. We seek hacks, shortcuts, and dopamine-driven routines, but the harsh truth is, none of them matter without self-respect, clarity, and consistency. Your morning routine is not just a set of tasks. It's a mirror of how seriously you take your own life. You either begin your day under your command, or you begin it already defeated, ruled by distraction, comfort, and delay. You now know that your morning self is the real architect of your future. The person you wake up as is the person who decides how your day, your habits, your energy, and your self-image evolve. If you begin each morning in silence, purpose, and forward motion, your entire life will start aligning with that tone. But don't be deceived. This transformation is not aesthetic. It's not about how beautiful your bullet journal looks or what trend you follow on TikTok. It's about choosing discomfort over ease, direction over confusion, and sovereignty over submission every single morning. Remember this, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the strength of your systems, and those systems are born in your mornings. So if you've been struggling, if your mornings feel rushed, reactive, or pointless, today is the day you take back control, not with unrealistic pressure, but with honest commitment. Not for the sake of being productive, but for the sake of becoming the version of yourself you're capable of being. Wake up early, not to impress the world, but to confront yourself. Delay comfort, not because suffering is noble, but because mastery is earned. And protect your first hour, not because it makes you a morning person, but because it makes you a disciplined person. Your morning is not a ritual, it is your revolution. Let it begin tomorrow, let it begin now.